Hello, do you know what a concussion is? 10 or 15 years ago, the subject was unfamiliar. You would get a head injury, feel dizzy, and go back to playing. That was the end of it. Since then, the subject has gained widespread attention. Thanks to research, we now know about the long-term consequences of concussion. Would you recognize the signs of concussion? Do you know what its short and long-term symptoms are? Do you know exactly what to do during and after a concussion incident? What is the athlete's responsibility and the CDSA's involvement? This educational video aims to explain what a concussion is, how to prevent long-term consequences of concussion, what do you do if you witness a concussion incident, and gain a better understanding of the protocol as an athlete and of the CDSA's role with respect to concussion. What is a concussion? A concussion is an injury to the brain that is 99.9% imperceptible on an X-ray, CT scan, or MRI. It consists of damage at the cellular level that is not visible. The brain controls all cerebral and bodily functions. A concussion is an injury to brain function and not a structural injury such as a fracture. It is an injury that is invisible to the naked eye. Since it affects the brain, it has an effect on bodily functions. It can cause various symptoms in the short and long term. Concussion is very difficult to diagnose, and only physicians and licensed health professionals can diagnose it. Concussion is suspected in any athlete who suffers a significant impact to the head, face, neck, or body, whether resulting from a fall on the head or body or a ball hitting the head, or an accidental blow to the face, head, or neck with the hand, leg, or gear. A concussion may also occur during a non-sport activity, such as falling on ice or a road accident, for example. It is also suspected in athletes who show any visible sign of concussion, including lying motionless, slow to get up following a direct or indirect impact, disorientation, confusion, or inadequate answers to questions, blank look or facial expression, difficulty walking, lack of motor coordination, stumbling, slow and labored motion, injury to the face. Some athletes will show symptoms immediately, while others will show them later, usually 24 to 48 hours after the incident. The majority of athletes who suffer a concussion make a full recovery and are able to return to play between 1 and 4 weeks after the incident. Recovery times vary for athletes with concussion. From 15 to 30% of athletes, however, continue to experience symptoms beyond this period. What are the temporary and persistent symptoms of concussion? Physical: headache, pressure in the skull, neck pain, problem with balance, nausea or vomiting, drowsiness, fatigue, or lack of energy. Sensory: dizziness, blurred vision, sensitivity to light, sensitivity to noise. Psychological, emotional: feeling out of sorts, heightened emotionality, increased irritability, sadness, nervousness, or anxiety. Cognitive: problems concentrating, memory issues, feeling slowed down, feeling of being in a fog. Procedures to follow as an athlete. During the incident, there are two possible situations, urgent and non-urgent. Urgent is when an athlete has suffered a head injury, spinal injury, and has epileptic seizure or convulsion, is unconscious or unable to respond. Emergency medical examination requires calling 911 to the hospital. People at the scene must not attempt to remove any gear worn by the athlete or attempt to move the athlete. First aid must be administered by the designated person. Wait for the emergency services to arrive. Non-urgent is when the athlete is conscious and is able to communicate and move. When an athlete is deemed to have suffered a concussion, it is advisable that the athlete withdraw or be removed from the game by coaches or care staff. What are the warning signs of a possible concussion? Pain or tenderness in the neck, double vision, weakness or a tingling or burning sensation in the arms or legs, headache, deterioration of consciousness, vomiting, and increasing agitation or aggressive behavior. Non-urgent medical examination on-site or by medical appointment. If a healthcare professional is present, if no healthcare professional is present. The CDSA assigns a person to accompany the athlete and an interpreter if necessary until healthcare services can call on a local interpreter. Medical assessment. For the athlete's present and future health and well-being, they must be removed from the game if a concussion is suspected. Furthermore, an appointment must be made with a registered health professional as soon as possible to assess the athlete's medical condition. In the meantime, athletes with a potential concussion should avoid being on their own for at least the first 2 hours, drinking alcohol, and using recreational drugs or prescription medication. Steps to follow for a return to play. Letter confirming the medical diagnosis, Appendix D. Presence or absence of concussion, signed by a professional. It is the CDSA's responsibility to hand the letter to the athlete, and the athlete must complete it and submit it to the CDSA. If there is no concussion, then a medical clearance letter for return to play, Appendix E, is required. If there is a concussion, then a medical follow-up and monitoring return to sport strategy are needed. Recovery, return to play, and athlete's responsibility. It is the athlete's responsibility to work closely with healthcare professionals to follow the steps listed in the return to sport strategy and to inform their supervisor and the CDSA regularly. An athlete's recovery time varies from one case to another, as does the length of each stage in the process. To return to unrestricted contact training, the athlete must have medical clearance as certified by the medical clearance letter for the athlete's return to play, Appendix E. Conclusion. The more we know about concussion, the better we can prevent it and act clearly to take care of our health and avoid long-term consequences. The athletes themselves are the first to witness the symptoms. If you don't feel right, be sure to say it. It is very important to listen to your body, take time to heal, be patient with yourself, and come back to 100% of your capacities before returning to competition so as to avoid another concussion. Take care of your head. Get out quickly to come back stronger. And life goes on after sports.